I have some huge news for creators who do outdoor and adventure style content. You can now film in national parks again. So in this video, I want to go through the Explore Act that was just signed into law and go over everything regarding filming and photography in national parks. Also, check out my new studio. This is the first video I'm officially doing in the new studio, and in another video coming up, I'll go through this whole thing, but this is just one angle. So let's dive into this bill together and let's see what it says about filming and photography. So there's a lot in this bill. Basically, here's a summary, and it goes through all the different things that were signed into law. And this was the 4th of 2025. So this was just signed in. And this Explore Act has different things in here. So long distance bike trails, target shooting ranges, filming and photography, invasive species. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff within this Explore Act, but what we're going to focus on is the filming and photography. So let's go to the full text of this bill and let's search for filming. And section 125, this is filming in the National Park System units. So this first section just has some general terminology of what we're talking about in this section, basically filming, still photography. And section 2, this goes through what is no permits required. And so here in section 2, you could see what is allowed without a permit. And so first it shows that if your shoot involves fewer than 6 individuals, and it meets the requirements described in paragraph 5. So we'll go over paragraph 5 in a second, what the terms are that allow you to film without a permit. But basically, if you're filming with 6 or less people and you're meeting these requirements, you don't need a permit. You don't need to pay anything. You don't even need to get authorization. You could just show up and film. Now, section B of this basically says that if the filming is in relation to something else that you're doing already in the park that you're already permitted for, you don't need to get any additional authorization. So if you're doing a wedding or something else that's in the national park and you already have authorization, you don't have to get more authorization to film as well. So that's for people who are using filming part of another event. But the thing that we're focused on is the section A. So less than 6 people, and it meets the requirements described in paragraph 5. So let's look at paragraph 5, what these rules are. So we go down to paragraph 5, and it says, if the person is filming or doing photos in a manner that does not impede or intrude on the experience of the visitors. So basically, don't bother other people. So if you're filming and there's other people around, just be aware of who's around you. You just want to do it in a way where you're not disrupting someone else's experience in the park, which that makes sense. If you're making a hiking video, if you're doing an overland trip through like Death Valley, you're not really going to be bothering other people, especially when you're in these places that are big and open and there's no one around. Part 2 is that you do not want to disturb or negatively impact cultural resources, the environment, or just any scenic value of the park. Basically, just don't destroy anything. That's what it comes down to. Part B, it says that the person conducts the filming or photos at a location where the public is already allowed. So you can't go into off-limit areas to go film. But if you're allowed to be there, well, then you could film there. That's basically what it's saying. If the person is filming or doing photography, that does not require exclusive use of a site or an area. So if you need exclusive use of a specific area and you're not allowing other people to be in your area, well, then that's not allowed. So basically, you have to be filming in places that the public can go. You don't want to disturb the public. You don't want to disturb the natural resources, all of that. You just want to be in there as a visitor and you can film. And then section D, it says the person does not conduct the filming or photography in an area that receives high volume of visitation. So if you're in one of these areas where there's just tons of people around, you probably don't want to be filming there. You just don't want to disturb the experience for the other visitors. Now, if you're running around with a camera doing some vlogging and you're just doing some shots and maybe filming yourself and you're not really disturbing anyone, it's probably not going to be a big deal. But essentially, this bill has set it up to where they're allowing you to go film in the national parks as long as you're not pulling from other people's experience. And it makes sense. Everybody's there to enjoy the national park. They are all there for their own reason. Some people might be wanting to film. And then there's other people out there who don't want to be around vloggers as they're running around talking to the camera, doing whatever. So it's just understanding your surroundings, being aware of who's around you. And just if you're in an area with a ton of people, maybe put down the camera for a little bit and then pull the camera back up when you get to an area that is a little bit quieter, less people, and you're not disturbing it for anyone else. So section E, it basically says you can't have a set. You basically just have to be able to use handheld equipment. So tripod, monopod, gimbals, anything like small you can use that's not going to be big equipment. Like if you were going to put up like a single light, it probably wouldn't be that big a deal, especially if it was like a little battery powered light and you need to film, yourself. Something like that is probably fine. And you're like your camera on a tripod, that all seems fine. It's just a matter of when you get to like bigger setups and you have multi-light setup and you have different things that you might need for your production and it becomes like this bigger show, well, then you're going to need a permit for that. But when it comes to just individuals filming with a little bit of handheld gear, you're fine. All right, section F basically says that you have to adhere to the visitor policies. We've already kind of gone over that. Section G basically talks about incurring costs of the staff there. So you basically don't want to do anything that's going to cost the money park. You're there as a visitor, same as everyone else. Section H says that the person conducting filming or still photography basically complies with all other federal state laws. So just you have to follow the rules of the state and the federal laws, and basically any local laws or regulations that are on that specific location. And they actually specify right here, including laws regarding to the use of unmanned aerial equipment. So they're calling out drone operators. And I know a lot of you would like to go fly your drone in national parks, but in national parks, drones are banned 100% of the time. So as far as I know, that's not something that's going to be changing anytime soon. So basically, if you're in a national park, you can't fly your drone. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It's like a blanket rule. There's a lot of parks I wish you could go fly your drone. I've been out to Death Valley, some different parts of Death Valley, and there is no one for miles in any direction out in these big desert landscapes. But because you're still within the national park, you can't fly a drone. Now, section 6 is interesting. They added a whole section in here for content creators. It says content creation. Regardless of the distributing platform, any photo, still photography, or auto recording for commercial or non-commercial content creation shall be considered to be filming or still photography under this subsection. So basically, making videos for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, it's all blanketed under this, giving you permission to go into national parks and make your videos. So I took this whole section of the bill and threw it into ChatGPT and just had it summarize this for me so we could get some quick facts of what this basically says. So activities for small groups, 6 or under, or incidental to events don't require permits or fees. That's everything we've been talking about. For 6 to 8 people, a free quick authorization might be needed. So if you're in that little section, 6 to 8 people, there's a quick authorization that you might need to be able to do the filming. Now, if you have more than 8 people or it's disrupting the activities of the park, so you're going in and you're actually blocking off areas or you're going to be disruptive to the other visitors of the park, that's still going to require a permit and a fee. And basically the system is designed to protect resources while accommodating small scale filming or photography without unnecessary bureaucracy. Thank you, ChatGPT, for summing that up for a super simple sentence that basically explains the whole problem with this at the beginning. It was unnecessary bureaucracy, and this basically just blanketed the opportunity for us to go out and film as content creators. So I'd love to hear some thoughts from you on the changes that have been made with this new Explore Act. If you want to see the information and you want to see the full terminology about the Explore Act, I'll put it down below in the description. Also, what do you think about my new studio? The next video that I do, I'm going to do a full breakdown. You'll be able to see step by step how I went through the entire process of building out this space and making it my home base. And I need a name for it though, because my Jeep's called my base camp. So I want something different for this. It's a different space where I can make my content. But this is exciting. 2025, you can go to national parks and start filming again. Pretty cool. All right, I'll see you on the next one.